Welcome to the Straight Shootin View.
Hey, what's up, people? Straight Shootin LJA here, and welcome to another episode of the Straight Shootin View. Now, as you can see, got my mask on because obviously I'm out and about. Not trying to flout any rules or anything like that. Not that the government wouldn't, but hey, politics is not for this podcast. But one thing I do want to discuss is kind of football and politics. Now, Chelsea Football Club. Chelsea and Frank Lampard, to be more specific. Now, we all know that Lampard is a club legend and all that kind of caper. But recently it's been announced, well, a lot of the media outlets are basically saying that Lampard has, 3-4 games to save his job. Or as the kind of more of the general line is that if form doesn't improve, he's going to get fired. And to me, that's kind of the case with literally any manager on the planet, to be honest. So, yeah, that's a bit of a funny one. But the free game thing is quite funny as well. Because for me, once again, Chelsea, if they have given Lampard this major ultimatum, it is one of them where it's very much true to form for them. Because as a club, to me, Chelsea are very, very short-termist. And they have been under the whole Abramovic reign, which has been, 16 years? 16, almost 17 years now? And the only thing consistent about them is that they've been consistently short-term. So, and also their success has been consistently inconsistent. Where it's been one season on, one season off, or one season off, maybe 2 seasons off, then a season on, then a season off, then all this. They're on and off more than a light switch in terms of trophies and success. So for me, it's one of them where Chelsea are very much a short-termist club, and Frank Lampard recently came out and said, basically his managerial destiny is not in his own hands. And I thought to myself, when was it ever in your hands? It's like, I remember Jose Mourinho saying the same thing a few years back, where it was like, it's not in my control. It's like, well, it never was. Anybody who goes to Chelsea Football Club as a manager and thinks that their destiny is in their own hands, they're either idiots or just plain delusional. Because it's Roman Abramovic. Let's keep this PG. Roman Abramovic is one of them ones. He's in control. And you can always see that he's in control. And throughout his tenure, he's always been in control. Certain transfers, Andrei Shevchenko, Fernando Torres. Just those 2 examples alone, you can see that it's Abramovich in control and not the manager at that time. So it's always been the case. When you've got that as the case, you end up with an owner who's willing to just kick people to the curb straight away. And for me, I'm not a fan of Chelsea Football Club generally. I will admit that, not just as a Liverpool supporter, but because I grew up in that area, in that vicinity. But in the vicinity of in the shadow of QPR and also Chelsea as well. But for me, it's one of them where I just look at it as Chelsea are one of those clubs who are going the short-termist way of trying to achieve long-term success. And that doesn't add up. Short-term methods for long-term success, it's an oxymoron. It doesn't work. That's why, for me, Chelsea's success is somewhat sporadic. They'll have a year on, year off. Year on, year off. It won't ever be 3, 4, 5 years straight. And some people may say, the quality of the Premier League's gone up, that's why it can't happen. No. It's one of them. They spent more than anybody back in 03, 04, actually 04, 05. They spent more than anybody, and even then, they won back-to-back league titles, but that success only lasted for a couple of years. And then it was off when Mourinho kind of dropped off, and then it started that on and off process. So you look at, say, Man United in the 90s, as much as it pains me to admit it, they created a dynasty for themselves. Why? Because they I mean, obviously they were spending, but they were developing youths, and also as well, they had a consistent manager. They had one team, one prize, one club, one goal. And that's what you need. You can't have stability at a club when you're chopping and changing managers every time. I remember Chelsea, Roberto Di Matteo, 4 months into a 3-4 year contract, gone. Andre Villas-Boas, same sort of thing. And the way they treated Carlo Ancelotti, you'd have thought he was some wet-eared rookie jabroni. So that club is very much, in my view, foundations built on sand. And foundations built on their owners' money, not their own. Which for me is why they keep changing kit sponsors every season or two. Because it's like, oh, we need the influx of cash. We need this influx of cash. So the Lampard situation for me is kind of a funny one, because from day one, I've always said that he will get a year at Chelsea if he's lucky. And Lampard has been extremely fortunate, because the transfer ban, for me, actually bought him time. The one key thing that other managers don't tend to get at Chelsea: if you have one bad season, you're gone. Ask Carlo Ancelotti. Second in the league by 4 points. They got rid of him, even though I think he won them a league. He won them a league and cup double the season before. Luis Felipe Scolari, same thing. So it's one of them where it's like you just don't get time at that club to really do anything. And remember, Chelsea have got one of the best youth systems around. But I hate the fact that people have been congratulating them in the last, year or two. Oh, they're finally using their youths. They're using their youths. Yeah, but they're only using them because they had to. They got caught cheating. They got a transfer ban slapped on them, which I personally would have upheld. I would have upheld, bugger the Court of Arbitration for Sport. I would have upheld it just on principle. Because if you're offering inducements to the parents of youngsters, like 15, 16, 14, who can't sign pro papers until they're 17, 18, it's like, dude, you're cheating. You're cheating. You're trying to get the best talent before anybody else, and you're doing it unfairly. So technically, you're cheating. So if you're cheating, throw the book at them so they won't do it again. Don't reduce the punishment halfway through. But it's one of them, Chelsea, true to form, what did they go and do as soon as that transfer ban was dropped? Before it, they went and spent a load of money. But then as soon as it was dropped, boom, money spent in that January window. I think it was, Pulisic they went and bought. So it's one of them where it's like, oh, the youths are finally getting a chance. But I always knew, and I told everybody who would listen, that Chelsea were going to go back to the money spending ways that they usually do anyway. And what did they do? I think it was like the day after the decision came out to reduce their transfer ban, boom, they went and spent. And then this past summer now, this is where the game has kind of changed for Frank Lampard. In the fact that this past summer, Lampard did get about 250 million to spend. And that is a major game changer. Because after last season, it was a case of, as said, the transfer ban bought him time. So if Roman Abramovic had gone to him and said, oh, how come we ain't done as well? Lampard could have instantly pointed to, well, I had a summer when I first came in where I couldn't spend anything. So I had to use the youngsters. And because the transfer ban only got reduced in January, I only had that month to buy players, and I could only get one or two. And remember, January is that transfer window where everybody pretty much gets extorted. So clubs are more cautious. And at the end of the day, if you want a quality player, you got to pay an extra premium for it. So that was built in time. But now this season, Lampard's realizing that the pressure is on. He is very much realizing that now, and he's going to realize soon how ruthless Chelsea Football Club are and how much loyalty they have. Remember Roberto Di Matteo, also a club legend. Look how he was treated. So it's one of them, and people are saying, oh, I've spoken to a couple of Chelsea fans who've been like, oh, Lampard doesn't have experience. Well, sorry, Chelsea. As a football club, you've made a rod for your own back. you knew he only had a year's experience at Derby County. So coming into, I always said that Lampard going to Chelsea was a mistake because he's got a lack of experience and he's going into a big club trying to fight for league titles. He's coming into a big club, admittedly, but as well a club that is known for having in the past world-class managers that they've sacked very, very quickly if they don't bring success. Chelsea going on like a poor man's Real Madrid. So it's one of them where it's like Lampard had to have seen that beforehand, and if he does get sacked within the next couple of weeks, within the next few games, if he didn't see it coming, he's an idiot, in my opinion. If he didn't see it coming, because he has to see the writing on the wall. He has to have seen Chelsea's track record. Hell, he was part of the club for years under that same Abramovic regime. So if anything, he got a front row seat to see how they get rid of managers. It's like Bret Hart not seeing the Montreal screw job coming. How could you not? For 15 years, you'd been a part of the furniture seeing, oh my God, look what Vince has done. Oh, then he's not going to do that to me. Of course he's going to do that to you. He's going to do that to anybody. Just like Frank Lampard. It's like, mate, you think Roman Abramovic is not going to get rid of you like he got rid of Mourinho twice? Like he got rid of Ancelotti? So, like he got rid of Di Matteo? No. Don't be under them false pretenses. Don't ever get that twisted. If Abramovich wants to get rid of you, he will. And apparently Chelsea are actually already on the hunt for another manager, and they've been told that one manager they're going to have to wait for or something like that. So if they're openly touting for a new manager already and openly looking, writing's on the wall, Frank, son. Writing's on the wall. But for me, as I said, Chelsea have made a rod for their own backs, because at the end of the day, you can't go and bury the guy and say he's got a lack of experience and doesn't know how to deal with big situations when you knew that he had a lack of experience and only had a year's experience coming in. Nah, you can't do that. You're taking the mickey. It's like that's like me. That's like someone. Anyway, I haven't even got another comparative analogy. That's how absurd it is. It's oh God. It's like when Jose Mourinho was calling Chelsea, oh, we're a little pony or a little horse. Oh, we can't compete with the other clubs spending. It's like, hold on a minute. During your first tenure, you outspent everybody. So no, doesn't work. In the immortal words of Hulk Hogan, that doesn't work for me, brother. So, hey, Lampard might want to brush up his CV and get his stuff sorted before he gets sacked. Because it's never been a case of if, it's always been a case of when. Whether it's 1 year, 2 years, and as I said, the transfer ban bought him time. It was a blessing in disguise. But Chelsea and their short-termism it will continue as long as Abramovich is there. It will always continue. But it's all I said, Lampard can't possibly be stupid enough or naive enough to think that he's going to get more time than someone else. Because there is no loyalty in football. Number one, there's no loyalty in football in general. And also Roman Abramovich, as proven by his track record, short-termist. Very short-termist. And Chelsea being a short-termist club as well. And it's rubbing off on some of their fans too. But you know what, yeah? Oh, God, man. I want to know your views. The comment section is where? Right down there. Right down there. The comment section is below. Let me know your views. Shout outs to the G-Man, Jezzy Fizzle, Nathan Arsenal, and also JBK as well. Remember, catch our other vlogs, Coaching with JBK and 5 Minutes with the G on youtube.com/Pitch Talk. And also Instagram's igtv. You can catch us as well at Pitch Talk on Instagram and on Twitter. Tweet with us, follow us, see what we are up to. Join the footballing revolution. We are trying to cultivate here with Pitch Talk. It is we the people for the people, because the pitch is where we eat, the pitch is where we sleep, and the pitch is where we talk. This has been the Straight Shootin View. I have been Straight Shootin LJA, and I said, want to know your views down in the comment section. I will see you next time here on the Straight Shootin View. Take it easy, peeps.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution on social media, dropping vlogs, blogs, videos, and podcasts on the beautiful game.